Good morning. My name is Tristan Wright, and I am the Student Relations Director for the RIT Student Government. Welcome to the online Elections Information Session video for 2014. This video will give you a brief overview of student government, each of the jobs that are available, the qualifications that you need to meet in order to run for those jobs, as well as the overall process of what's going to happen for the elections. Welcome. First of all, student government. Student government is part of the RIT shared governance system. So at RIT, whenever we make a large decision, for example, deciding to go from quarters to semesters, student government is one of the major bodies that has to make that decision. Our job is to represent and serve the student body. We also oversee a large portion of the student activity fees that all students pay to RIT, and our job is to make sure that that money is spent well, is spent in the interest of students, and better serves to improve what our experiences are like here at RIT. Student government has two branches. The executive branch, which is the president, vice president, and cabinet. The executive branch does not have a vote in any student government issues. However, it manages all of the various services. So for example, part of my job is making this video as part of the student government cabinet. However, I do not have any votes. I did not vote to approve the elections calendar, for example. The other branch of student government is the legislative branch, and that consists of all of the senators and the MSO representatives. Those are the individuals who vote on student government policies. For example, I mentioned the semester conversion earlier. It was the senators and the representatives from the major student organizations that voted on that particular issue. Now, job descriptions. All three of these jobs are part-time. So if you want to run for senator, vice president, or president, you're looking at least 15 to 20 hours a week. The president of student government is a minimum of 20 hours a week, although Tall Paul says to me that it is more than that. It involves going to a lot of meetings. The job is sort of like being the CEO of student government. The president is responsible for making sure that student government continues to function, that we're doing all of the things that we're supposed to be doing, that we're adequately representing ourselves as students to the administration and the board of trustees. So another significant part of being the president of student government is being the person who presents on behalf of the student body to the board of trustees. So it's a pretty big job. The president, just like the president of the United States, does not have a vote in the Senate. So, for example, going back to the semester conversion, the president of student government at that time did not actually have a vote in that issue. So their role was to bring it to the student government and to bring the student government's decision to the trustees afterwards, but the president himself did not actually vote in that particular issue. The vice president works very closely with the president to oversee student government and its operations. The vice president is the immediate supervisor to all of the senators, and very importantly, the vice president is the person who both arranges the agenda for the Senate meeting and chairs the Senate meetings. So it is the job of the vice president to set up an agenda for what is going to be decided and talked about and done during each weekly Senate meeting, and about 2 days in advance, letting everyone know, contacting all of the senators and MSO representatives or posting it somewhere, what's on the agenda, and then during the Friday Senate meeting, the vice president is responsible for facilitating the whole meeting. The vice president also has a lot of meetings to attend and is a part of the student affairs team within the board of trustees. I'm forgetting the exact title, but it is a very important aspect of meeting with the trustees and talking about exactly, what is the student experience here and what are the issues that students are facing. Like the president, the vice president does not have a vote in Senate except if there is a tie. So this, if you're familiar with how the US Senate works, it's the same thing. The vice president of the United States has a vote anytime there is a tie in the US Senate. Same thing in student government. If there is a tie, if there is a tied vote, the vice president has the tie-breaking vote. Otherwise, however, the vice president doesn't vote. Senators. We are looking for 12 different senator positions this year. There are 9 senators that represent the colleges and 3 senators that we're looking for that represent communities, various community groups. In this case, this year we're looking at cross-registered students, female students, and Greek students. The position of being a senator means that you do have a vote in all student government issues. This is a very important job, just like in the United States Senate, where all of the senators that represent whichever state you're from vote on your behalf as a citizen. The senators in student government vote on behalf of the students they represent. That might be the students in their college, or that might be a particular constituency, for example, cross-registered students. Being a senator takes between 15 to 20 hours a week, although I haven't on solid information from many of the senators that it sometimes takes more than that. It again involves a lot of meetings, particularly attending various institute committees and representing student interests, for example, on committees talking about curriculum development across campus. Right now, this semester, we're working on the RIT strategic plan, so it's the next big step in RIT's movement into the future, and we have a number of student government representatives, senators, who are a part of that process. So this is a big part of being a senator and representing either your college or a particular group of students that you're working for. Qualifications. If you are interested in running for the positions of either president or vice president, keeping in mind that that runs on one ticket, again, just like in the United States, it was Obama, Biden, Romney, Ryan, the other guy. The point is, they're together. So if you are interested in running for president, you will need to have a running mate. If you're interested in running for vice president, you will need to have somebody who wants to run for president. The qualifications for those positions are the same. You must be at least a second-year student. So that means you must have at least completed 3 quarters last year and 1 semester this year. You must also intend to be at RIT next year for the whole academic year. No co-ops, no study abroad. It's a full-time gig. If you're interested in running for senator, you must have completed at least 1 semester at RIT, so you must be at least a first-year student. Somewhat obviously, you must also be from the people you would like to represent. So if you want to be the COLA senator, you need to be a student in the College of Liberal Arts. A KGCOE student is not eligible to represent the College of Liberal Arts, for example, or a male student would not be considered eligible to represent female students, etc. You must plan to be at RIT taking classes for both the fall and spring semesters. You are able to go on co-op, senators are able to go on co-op during the intersession or study abroad, etc., but senators are required to be on campus for both semesters. If you are not able to commit to that, if you know that you're going to go on co-op or you think it's fairly likely that you're going to go on co-op, you are not eligible to run in student government elections. I'm going to describe the elections process. First of all, there are 3 main dates that you need to keep track of. The packets, if you are interested in running for any of these positions, packets are due by noon on Friday before spring break. So before you leave, you need to drop it off. During spring break, we will be verifying everyone's packets and all of those signatures. You will receive an email saying that you are eligible to run or not eligible. Once you've received an email saying that yes, you are eligible to run, on the Monday after spring break, so that's Monday, March 31st, campaigns may begin. So once you have received a verification email saying that yes, your candidacy is good to go, you can begin your actual campaign. The campaigns will run from March 31st until April 14th. That's the 3rd week in April. The 3rd week in April is election week. So that's Monday through Thursday. Students can vote online or in person. And Friday, the 18th, is when winners will be announced.
Can you say that date again? And then Friday?
Friday, the 18th. 18.
April 18th. Yes.
at the end of Student Government Senate. So Senate meetings are at 1 p.m. The announcement will happen more, or probably closer to 2:30. The packets themselves are available to be picked up here in the Student Government office. As I said, the completed packets are due no later than noon on the Friday before break. The packets have lots of, they're fairly self-explanatory. There's lots of instructions. They are pretty heavy, 18 pages for the senator packet, 21 pages for president and vice president. They have instructions. The big thing that you need to collect are signatures. If you are applying for a senator position, you'll need 50 signatures from the students you plan to represent. So if you're the NTID senator, you need 50 NTID you need signatures from 50 NTID students. Each NTID student could feasibly endorse or sign the petition form for more than one candidate if they would like to. However, they cannot sign one form more than once. So if I'm John Q. student and I'm endorsing you, I cannot sign your form 5 times. But if your pal James is also running, I can sign your petition and James's petition, and that is okay. If you are interested in running for the positions of president and vice president, you need to collect a total of 300 signatures from RIT students across campus. That's a lot more signatures. What is a little confusing about this is that the signatures are proportional to each college. So the colleges that have the largest population, you'll need more signatures from them. So KGCOE as the largest student body, you'll need 60 signatures from KGCOE, whereas CHST, being the smallest college, only needs 12.
And the name of that college again was?
CHST.
Thank you.
You don't have to memorize this, it's all listed in the packet. You don't have to figure it out for yourself. All of the numbers are there, and the petition forms themselves only give you up to that number of signatures. So you need 300 signatures proportional to each college if you're interested in running for president and vice president. There are several other forms involved in the packet, lots of signatures and things that you need to read. If you have questions about any of that, feel free to contact us through the Facebook page, to come into the office, to contact sgrel@rit.edu. That's my email, and I can give any answers and explain anything that you might not understand about the packets.
Can you say your email address again, please?
sgrel@rit. Campaigning. As I said, campaign begins after spring break. You must have received a verification email to begin your campaign. Part of campaigning this year includes submitting a list of your online campaign resources. So within the packet, you'll find a list of the rules and regulations for campaigning. I'm not going to go too far into them in the video. One of the new things, however, that you may not be used to is submitting a list of online resources that you plan to use during your campaign. For example, if you have a campaign Facebook page, if you have set up a campaign website, if you intend to use your personal website to campaign, if you intend to use your personal Twitter feed to campaign, etc., we would like you to submit a list of those items to the Director of Services here at Student Government. That email is svcs@rit.edu, and it will be her role to oversee and make sure that all of those are being used properly. This is our first foray into 21st century elections technology, and so it's our first work with this, so we appreciate candidates being flexible and willing to work with us as we add online campaign resources to how elections are done here at RIT. There are a few things that student government will give you as part of your campaign. 50 flyers. We will print out black and white copies, 50 of them, of your campaign flyer. There's also the debates, and we will be posting one of the requirements is that you send to us a little campaign slide outlining what you're doing, and we will be posting that online and on the SGTV station, channel 15, on campus. Now for the rules. If you are running for a student government position, there are some things you are not allowed to do while you run. Firstly, you are not allowed to in any way get in the way of any of the other candidates' campaigns. So that includes tearing down flyers, spreading rumors, otherwise trolling the other people who are running. Be respectful, don't be rude. You are not allowed to post your campaign flyers in any student government office, so in the student government office here, in any of the major student organization offices, downstairs, OCASA, etc. You are also not allowed to post them in the computer labs, which includes on the background, so you can't set the desktop background to have your campaign flyer. During elections week, third week of April, you are not allowed to stand within 50 feet of the voting location in the student SAU and try to solicit votes, so you can't stand right next to the voting booth and say, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. That's not allowed. Incidentally, not allowed in the United States as well. You are also not allowed to do that in any of the computer labs, so bearing in mind that students can also vote online. So you are not allowed to sit in a computer lab and actively and say, hey, get online and vote for me, get online and vote for me, get online and vote for me. That's not okay. You are more than welcome to tell people that voting is happening and tell them where the website is, but you cannot solicit votes. You can't try to get votes by standing in a computer lab recruiting people. You are not allowed to be endorsed by any faculty or staff member, so while you're getting your signatures, your favorite professor is not eligible to endorse you, although I'm sure that it feels good to know that they support you. You also could not have, for example, Richie or Rory, the new Freeze Fest Tiger, join you in any sort of campaign event. You could not use the RIT Message Center email to promote your campaign, etc. Fairly straightforward. If you are a person if you are currently an employee of student government or a member of a major student organization and you are running for office, you are not allowed to use any of the resources that you get through student government or that major student organization in the process of running. For example, if you are a current student government senator who is interested in running for president, you cannot use your student government email account as part of your campaign. You would need to use your student email account. Most importantly, especially going back to item 1 about not trolling our fellow candidates, candidates can be held accountable for the behaviors and actions of anyone acting on their behalf. So if you have something of a campaign team and one of your team members goes around and tears down flyers of other candidates, you, as the candidate yourself, can be held accountable for that action. So, having people to work with you on your campaign, great. Again, respectful, friendly campaigns, not being jerks. Last but not least, related to the rules, of course, what happens if there are disputes, if the rules are broken, and what are the consequences? The Elections Committee oversees the entire elections process. I am the committee chair, and the committee has 6 other members representing senators, major student organizations, and a few cabinet members. So any disputes can be brought to me, which will in turn be brought to the Elections Committee that meets every week. If we are made aware of any rule breaking within the campaign, for example, if we are made aware that a candidate has been tearing down the flyers of other candidates, it is up to the Elections Committee, in consultation with our advisors, Bill St. Jean and Kate Blackburn, to make a decision about what to do and what are going to be the consequences. Now, consequences can range from something as light and very simple as no longer being allowed to have flyers printed out for you for free, so student government can say, you broke the campaign rules, we're sorry, we will not print 50 free flyers for you, all the way up to being expelled from candidacy. So if you break the rules in a really big way, the Elections Committee does have the right to say, we're sorry, you cannot run for office. As I said, all of those decisions are made by both the elections committee and our advisors. So that sums up everything we have here for the elections information session. The members of the elections committee are in alphabetical order: Bakar Ali, Senator of the College of Liberal Arts; Keith Banks, NTID Senator; Brad Calloway, Elections Chairperson for the NTID Student Congress; Ashleen Evans, President of the NTID Student Congress; Kevin Mead, Public Relations Director for Student Government; Aaron Sapinka, Services Director for the RIT Student Government; and myself, Tristan Wright, Director of Student Relations for RIT Student Government. Thank you for joining us for the information session. Once again, packets and other informational sheets are available in the Student Government office. If you have questions, feel free to contact us through Facebook, Twitter, or contact me directly at my email, sgrel@rit.edu. Good luck.